Hey there, welcome to Angel Transmission Podcast, where you'll hear real-life story about the angels, inspirational messages from the angels, and tips and tricks on how to connect with your angels. I'm your host, Alice Hadi, angel healer and spiritual coach. Without further ado, let's dive deep into today's episode, shall we? Have you ever heard of the term spiritual closet? Today, we're gonna talk about coming out of the spiritual closet. This is a topic that is very close to my heart that I totally can resonate because I've gone through layers and layers of it. So coming out of the spiritual closet sounds exactly like it is. Perhaps you are super woo-woo, or so to speak, out of this world. But you are very afraid of people knowing it or finding out, so you're hiding in a closet. That is what we mean by hiding in a closet, and you want to come out of that spiritual closet. Look, it doesn't mean we have to go out in the world and talk about witchcraft all day long either. There is a time and space for it. There is a time and space to talk about it and to not talk about it. But to purposely hide it and to play small, that is a different story. So I'll share a little bit of my story about how I was in a spiritual closet for a long time. So I came from a background of working in corporate. So obviously, woo-woo is totally not in the book, especially not in the banking world where we talk about numbers and data and graph. Spirit, angels, people are gonna laugh your ass off, right? And then even after corporate, I was a life coach. So even though I was like in the personal development field, it isn't still like really woo, right? Although on personal level, I am woo-woo, like literally from the beginning of my spiritual journey, I'm into angels, angel cards, healing words, shamanic journey, like everything spiritual, put it on the buffet, I will take it. But that is like my personal life. I didn't want to share that out there in the world. So even when I was meeting a friend, if they are not in the spiritual community, I will pretend that I'm not spiritual in the past. And even in my work as a life coach, I tried not to talk about spirituality unless I knew that the client is spiritual. It took me like years before I decided that, hey, I can't hide who I am. So I gotta show up as who I am. And the rest is up to the people around me. Like, like whether they can accept me for who I am, respect me for what I do, and honor me for what it is, then it is totally up to them, but I'm gonna be me, unapologetically. So that was like when I decided to like really finally coming out of my spiritual closet. I started to really talk about more in terms of angels and spirituality and all this woo-woo stuff in the recent years. But up till then, I was pretty much in the closet as I was sharing earlier. And even after I come out of my spiritual closet, so to speak, and became a spiritual coach and started coaching and teaching, I wasn't all that woo-woo either, like I was talking in a very confined, safe space about general spiritual stuff without going specific into the weirder stuff of spirituality in a way. So a good example is I have my light language activated in 2016 and I've been using it ever since. However, I haven't really talk or share it in my work because I just think that was like really woo-woo. I didn't know how to explain it to people. I was afraid people will run away or will criticize me. So out of people pleasing and fear of being judged or being criticized, I choose to hide that gift of mine, which actually is one of the strongest one that I have. It's only, again, till recently that I started to incorporate it into my work, and I see significant, huge transformation, not just in me, but with the people I work with. So how much longer am I gonna hide my gift, right? I mean, I'm glad I come out of my closet, but all I'm saying is by not coming out of the closet, I was hiding my gift that could have been a huge help to other people. And I'm doing it at the expense of others just because I'm afraid of being judged. So on a bigger scale of thing, the fear of judgment become relatively selfish or even irrelevant. Get what I'm saying? And it is easier said than done, but it is totally possible for you to also come out of your spiritual closet. It starts by taking the willingness and the first step to first and foremost come into peace within yourself, come into acceptance within yourself, come into terms within yourself to accept yourself for who you are spiritually, with all your weirdness, woo-woo-ness, and quirkiness, and to show up as you to the world, starting with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones, and even out there in the world if you're working with people. Take it step by step. You don't have to go overnight and go extreme, but take it step by step. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go into a spiritual business. That's not what it is about. It is about you showing up as you. Like, are you consciously hiding your spiritual side? If yes, how can you show up even more on your spiritual side? So for example, if you go shopping with a friend and you think your friend is not spiritual, but you are a spiritual person, and you walk past a super beautiful spiritual shop that has all the crystals and the witchcraft and the tarot card and all the whatever you want to call it inside. You know you're gonna love this shop, but because you're afraid of your friend judging you for being weird, will you walk past this shop pretending you don't see it? Or will you stop by and tell your friend that, hey, I am gonna go into this shop. You can follow me or I'll meet you elsewhere. This is a simple, practical example that you can start with. You don't have to convince your friend to go in with you, but you are able to say that this is what I love, this is who I am, and I want this. You can join me. If not, we can meet later. So using this example, explore in other areas of your life. In what other ways can you allow yourself to show up more as yourself, spiritual or not? So I hope this transmission gives you a little bit of a food for thought, a little bit of a soul activation, a little bit of fun to just explore as you play in this cosmic world, cosmic playground, and see how else can you play more, how else can you be more of yourself. And as you receive today's transmission, you receive more of yourself today. So allow yourself to share your light, shine your love, and be you, and come out of that freaking closet already if you haven't. And if you already have, how much more can you come out? With that, I send you lots of love and I end this transmission. Thanks for listening, lovelies. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do help to share this podcast with others. Post about it in your social media or leave a positive review and 5-star rating of this podcast. To catch all the latest from me, you can also follow me on Instagram at Alice Hadi. Thanks again, and I will catch up with you soon.